there, Kaylin here at Full Purpose and Heart. I feel like I start all my videos the same, but it just feels right. So today's video is the update video that I get to do. They are my favorite to film because I get to just share with you what we are doing and kind of the progress that we have made, and all the things that kind of go along just with homeschool. So this is just kind of a fun chit chat, like we're friends, and come over and we'll just chit chat about what my kids are doing in homeschool. Now this is the last month. It's been 4 weeks since my last update video, and my last update video was like, we're back. So it was kind of just what we had done over the course of the whole year, which wasn't a whole lot. So I think that we've accomplished more in these last 4 weeks than we have the entire school year. So that feels good, but it's also kind of embarrassing. But anyway, let me show you the fun things that we've done. Okay, if I'm being honest, I don't totally remember where I left you guys off at, so I just have a stack of stuff here and then I'll kind of go through it. We'll start with family school and then I'll divide it up between each of my kids. So the thing that we've done this last, 4 weeks is I've only had 2 family school subjects that we've been trying to get through. The first one, we did finish Colonial America, and I did a little video about that and told you all about how that unit went. And then we started the American Revolution, and we're kind of blowing through that really well. So let me show you. Gosh, I didn't even put these in the right order. Okay, so this is what I'm using to teach. Whoa, that's a glare. This is what I'm using to teach the American Revolution. This is kind of, I'm supplementing it a lot. So I have this. I also have this, our Star Spangled Story Part 1. And then I'm also using Heritage Studies 2. And this is the teacher's manual that I have. So I have 3 resources that I'm using to kind of pull this unit together. And then I also purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers. This is like, it's kind of cut up because I've already started putting it on my wall, but it's like a bulletin board display, I think. And it just has a lot of different stuff. So this is the visual that I'm having for my kids as we go through the unit. And then I just put up the different pieces as we get to it. So as far as this resource goes, so I'm a huge fan of Evan Moor. If you haven't been around my channel for a minute, then you may not know, but I love all of Evan Moor resources. I just think that they're a great company for all kinds of reasons, which I won't get into here to save us time. But all that being said, I'm not super impressed with the American Revolution. And I think it's because my expectation of what we're supposed to teach for the Revolution isn't contained in here. What does my expectation have? I don't know. I don't really know, but in my brain, I feel like it should be more of a sequential, like this is how it started, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then it ended. But that's not how this flows. It flows really well with the introduction and then the causes of war. We did that one. And then it jumps to famous patriots. And I don't know, in my brain, I was like, famous patriots is next? Like, shouldn't we have the Continental Congress and then like Bunker Hill, or first Lexington and Concord and then Bunker Hill? But they jumped to famous patriots and then a soldier's life. So now we're talking about what it's like to be a soldier. Then they have battles, and the battles that they have, I don't even remember, quite honestly. I mean, it must have been, I'm sure here's battles. Let me see what they've got. The Battle of Bunker Hill, famous naval battles, and then patriotic quotes. So I don't know what to say about that. And then Spies and Traitors, and then the last one is Birth of a Nation, which I wasn't planning on doing because that was going to be a unit all on its own. So I've had to supplement it a lot. These first 2, let me get my sons here. So we're using the medical folders again, and I had a lot of questions about this when I posted it for our Colonial America. The medical folders, just get them from Amazon. Just type in medical folders, and they have a couple of options. So you can do, I chose 3 because most of the pocket books, whether you're doing literature pockets or history pockets, are going to have at least 6 pockets worth of content. So I chose this, but if you choose a book, then you're like, I only want to do 4, then just get a medical folder that has 2 inserts. Okay. So there's a couple of options. Just make sure you look around. There's also some that only have 1 insert if you want to do it that way. Like if you want to do it for a folder, what are those called? Interactive notebooks. Those are kind of fun too. So That's not what it's called. Lap books. They're called lap books. So anyway, this is how we started. And then we did do the whole American Revolution. And the only thing that I really added, and I talked about this on Instagram. I was like, I hear myself talking about this. We just added a little T chart that my kids had to copy. And then, so that was all we added for that. And then for this one, I added this Boston Tea Party project. There's one up on the board. But anyway, this was one thing that we added. It's a little bit different than what was in the book. I showed you guys this on Instagram, but this is I made this little like flap book, really easy to make. I did say on Instagram I was going to try to put a video together so I could show you how to do something like this. But really, I just had the template and then threw the words up on top of the template, printed it out, and it was good to go. So that I added, and then this one was part of the book. I added this one. This is just like a writing prompt thing. I'm sorry about that glare every time I do it, but I'm filming this video at a different hour than I typically do. So anyway, so this has been a really fun unit, but it has been a little bit more prep on my part because it's not just an open and go like I felt Colonial America was when I did Evan Moor's Colonial America. So putting this back together. So that is what we're doing for history. And there's a little quick review about it. And then we're also doing James and the Giant Peach. And I have such grandiose plans for it, but none of the plans are coming together. So we just haven't finished the book. And I think it's taken us, I think we're into like 7 weeks now. It's taken us to finish this book. And for no other reason than I get to a place where I'm supposed to do an activity or a craft or something, and I either don't have the right resources, or like we were supposed to make a paper mache peach, and so I held on to that craft for weeks until I finally was like, I can't get this together, so let's just move on in the story. And then we were gonna make like little puppets and do a story up to that point of the story, and I couldn't get myself to be like, okay, let's do this. I mean, I just couldn't do it. So anyway, we just need to finish the book so that we can I wanted to show my kids the film, but to be honest, I haven't watched the film since like it first came out in the 90s. So anyway, those are our 2 family schools. That's all we're doing here towards the end of the year. And as far as science goes, I haven't picked up science again. It just I don't know why. I don't have a reason other than I really wanted to try to get through the Revolutionary War, and splitting our focus on both science and history at this point just felt a little bit strained. Now, I will throw this in there in case you are in the same boat as me. I do have connection with a third-party school people who fund homeschool, right? And I know that there's polarizing opinions about that, but I am a part of one. And as part of that, I have to report at the end of the quarter what we did for science. And we haven't done anything for science. So this is just like a testament, or if you're like in a struggle bus right now, feeling like I have to report something or I haven't done anything in this subject, regardless of whether you're reporting to like, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. So you don't do one subject for an entire quarter or even a whole semester of your school year. Like, it's going to be fine. And if you're passionate about that subject or you really want to teach that unit, then just pick it up in the summer or pick it up in the winter. And if you decide that you hate it, then put it off to the side and be like, well, we'll do this on another season. But there are some things that I feel like we don't have to stress about. And even if it's like a core subject, like you're feeling like they need to finish all of their math lessons, it's going to be fine. The first quarter of the new year is review anyway. So I release you of that responsibility. Don't feel guilty because I haven't done any science and I'm going to report nothing at the end of the quarter, and it's fine. Like, who cares, right? People fail out of public school for almost their whole school year. I mean, their whole school experience. And somehow they are all functioning citizens. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's talk about grade level work. So I have 3 kids. Let's start with my oldest. So we finished, okay, so he was doing teaching textbooks for 5th grade, and he was doing Lexia for 5th grade. And he finished both of those at the very beginning of fourth quarter. So I went out and I decided to get him this. This is for his English. There are 2 light units. I got him 2 books. This is from Christian Light Education. And funny story, I purchased it. It was sent here. We were doing it for like, I don't know, 2 solid weeks. My friend was asking about it. I was like, oh, it's so great. We love it. We love it. And I was showing her the website. And then I was like, oh, I didn't buy language arts. I bought reading. And this whole time I thought I had bought language arts, but this is their reading curriculum. And this is what I'm doing to finish off the school year for our whole language arts. And I actually think that it's sufficient for language arts, especially here at the end of the quarter. It really just depends on what you're looking for your kids or what you feel like they need to focus more on. But he writes his answers. I mean, he reads the story first, and then he writes his answers, and there's right now he's learning like similes and metaphors and idioms and automatopoeias and poetry and memory work and vocabulary words. So I feel like it's a pretty good gamut of things in the language art field. And they're super, super inexpensive. And what I really loved about Christian Light Education is that you can purchase, because they have light units, each level has like 8 to 10 light unit books. I think this one had 5 maybe. But I just went through and purchased the last 2. So if you find that you're at the end of a school year and you're either tired of what you're doing, or you need something fresh and new, or your student has finished it and you don't want to finish the school year, then Christian Light Education is kind of a fun resource, because you can go to the end of the year for their grade level and pick up 1 or 2 of those books for less than $5. And you can have that for them to go through just as like a continual practice. It's pretty easy, but it's new content. So I'm really loving it. My son doesn't complain too much, and the stories are like a good size. Let me just quickly show you here. This is in the middle of the book, so I'm sure that they kind of, oh no, they're all the same. Okay, so this is how much content that there is to read. It's just a good amount, and it's probably like 3-4-ish pages. This is one of the poems that they had to read. Those blinds have got a terrible reflection. But anyway, I give it 5 stars, and I would recommend it to anybody who's kind of feeling like they're at the end of the year or they need something supplemental. It would also work as your like full-time curriculum if you want to do that. Just get their reading, and I would add the language arts as well. I'm not sure what the language arts looks like because I've never done it before, but for reading, this is a great program and we love it. He also finished teaching textbooks level 5, and instead of jumping into level 6, I just decided we were going to finish off the year. So I picked up this Skill Sharpeners grade 5, another fantastic resource. I think it's like $10 and change. So I don't know what it is, but really inexpensive to finish off the year. And I am using this as a review of everything that he learned on teaching textbooks. And I've heard a lot of people talk about, like, not a lot of people, but I've had some conversations with people saying like, well, sometimes it's easy for the kids to zoom through teaching textbooks and not really learn the content. There's some like tricks or backdoors or like whatever that the kids figure out so that they can finish the lesson but not really learn what they need to learn. And so with that in mind, after we finished, I decided let's just pick this up and we'll see what concepts what concepts did teaching textbooks miss. It's kind of hard sometimes because different curriculums will put together their whole year and then it'll look a little bit different from another curriculum. So maybe they won't teach the exact same stuff. So anyway, that's what we're doing and it's going great. Like, I don't know, he's only 2 units through it or whatever, but yeah, so far he knows everything and I just have him do 1 or 2 pages a day. We're not going to finish this book by the end of the year, but I just let him like whatever. And I think that when we get started on Monday that I'm probably just gonna be like, choose whatever like topic that you want. So the first one's like, animal antics was the first one, party time, fun and games on the road. So I'll just be like, just choose summer camp. That's kind of fun. So I'll just be like, just choose whatever like theme you want and do the problems in that theme. So he can skip around, practice up. It's a lot of multiplication, graphing, decimals are in there, some temperature stuff. So anyway, it's good. And that's all my 5th graders doing right now. So we are done with 5th grade. We're just kind of like wrapping up some loose ends. my second grader is doing, okay, so we were doing Lexia, and I decided to stop doing Lexia because I was talking to my friend about it, and she was the one that recommended it to me, and we've loved it all school year. But then she was like, hey, have you seen this chart? Or I don't know how it came up, but we looked at this chart where it shows what each of the levels grade level is, because she kept referring to her kids like, well, they have to finish up through like level 12 or whatever it is, and we're not quite there yet, and I want to make sure we finish the school year on time. Anyway, so in talking about this, I was like, oh, well, I don't even know like where my kids are landing. We're just going through the program. And so I looked it up on this chart, and she was in like 4th grade work. And so I was like, okay, I think we're done with this, because I'm not sure how much of these concepts you've actually learned. I was just doing 20 minutes a day, and I assumed that it was similar to other online programs that I've done where you just set the timer, do 20 minutes, and then you can be done. But I didn't have any guidance, and clearly I was doing it wrong because we were blowing through it and they were passing all the levels, and so I just wasn't paying attention. But anyway, so we pulled that off. And she is just doing, and I didn't pull them out, but she has a couple of other books, Evan Moor mostly. I just have like a reading comprehension book, and then Evan Moor Spell and Write. And she does 1 page of those a day. And then she also has her math. So she does the Horizons math book, and this is book 1. That's how our year has gone. And I do have book 2, which we will do as a part of summer school. And I'll tell you how I'm going to organize summer school in another video. I feel like I always revamp it every year with something a little bit different. But yeah, so anyway, when I figure out how that's going to go, then I will. But she's got, I don't know, probably about 15 lessons left, maybe 20 or so. So she's going to probably finish this book by the end of the school year, and then we'll move on to book 2. So that's what she does, 1 page a day. And I did rip out a few pages to try to make sure she ended on time. But for the most part, I think she's done every single lesson, which is not, I mean, that's pretty unusual for us because usually we're moving right along. So I'm ripping pages out and throwing lessons in the garbage to try to like keep like, oh, this is too much review. Oh, you know this, let's move through the books. But we have not been doing that this year. Okay. And then my kindergartner, he also is doing Horizons Math. I love Horizons Math. If you're new and you don't know, all of my children have done Horizons Math. My 5th grader did it through 3rd grade. And then 4th grade, we picked up Christian Light Education. And then 5th grade, we did teaching textbooks. So that's how our year has gone. And I just love it. So I think that my younger kids will probably follow suit. They're going to do Horizons up through 3rd grade. And then 4th grade will probably pick up teaching textbooks. I'm thinking maybe, but we're not there yet, so I'm not sure. Anyway, so my son has fewer pages than his sister, but so he'll be finished with this a little bit sooner, but we're not going to move into book 2 until we get to summer school. So that's that. And then his reading, he just has this little folder that he loves because it's a turtle, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and I just printed off. This is a Teachers Pay Teachers resource that we've been going through. I actually printed these pages for his summer school program. And we're finishing it now in May or April, whatever. Okay, so I actually printed off 3 different resources, and then I put them all together. They were kind of graduating. Like, I don't remember how she built it out. This is Caitlin. I've bought a lot of her stuff, actually. Anyway, Caitlin, how do you say it? Albani, Albani. I'll have to find her store and put it in the description box below. But there's lots of these kind of like kindergarten reading comprehension pages that are just like print and go, no prep, those kinds of words or keywords when you type it in. And I like it because it does help him practice his reading. He can read all of the words by himself, and then he can fill out the questions. And it's also taught him a little bit of reading because she always asks like who or what in almost all of the questions. And so he's learned those words too. Where is some of them? But anyway, so these are fun, and they were graduating. So we started with like a set A and then set B, and this is her set C. So it's been nice, and he has felt kind of good about moving along, and he likes to do the reading. So I tell him to do like 1 page a day, front and back, which is 2 reading stories and their questions, but he really enjoys it. So he usually does more than that. And then lastly, I also have, what is it? I don't even remember now. Reading, a reason for spelling, A reason for reading? Anyway, I don't remember what it is, but so this isn't a very helpful piece, but we do that. We do one other component where we just practice like the vowels and the consonant blends, and there's like little magnet tiles for letters. If you know what that is, then you know. But anyway, I think it's a reason for reading, but all about reading? I think it's all about reading, all about spelling. Anyway, whatever it is, we have the little tiles and then we put them on the board, and right now he's doing digraphs. We've been doing it for a ton, so we should probably graduate from it, but the SH, TH, CH sounds. So anyway, and that's it. That's where we are with school. So I think that moving forward, we're just my goals for moving forward is to just finish the Revolutionary War up until the birth of a nation. And then in September, when we start again, I will start with birth of a nation for history. The only other thing that we can add here at the end is if you're on Instagram, Kaylin.Morel is my Instagram handle if you want to follow me over there. But I've been talking a lot about this investigation for the co-op world. I only have had one co-op experience, and I have a lot of hesitations for it because, as it come to find out, I'm pretty, what's the personality I'm thinking of? I'm kind of a control freak, I think, in my, how I want my classroom to be run and what I want the unit to be and what curriculum we use and what units we study. Like, I find a lot of joy in putting all of that together. And so that's where I am with the co-op. I'm interested in a co-op because of some of the benefits that come from a co-op. I'm looking at like the elective courses that you can learn from other mamas and their passions being infused into our school life. I also like the peer option or opportunity that they can be around peers. And really, I would love my kids to create relationships with other kids that are more meaningful instead of, who they meet at the park or at the jump house or whatever. And they spend those 2 hours together and they're like, oh, they're my friend. It's so fun. And then they never see them again. So that's kind of my intention for trying to find a co-op. So far, we haven't been very, successful, but I did find a group of ladies, and we're going to have a meeting here in the near future. And we're going to talk about if we wanted to build our own co-op, what would that look like? What roles would each of us take? So if that moves forward, then I'll be sharing kind of how we build a co-op here for you so that you can hopefully learn from my experience and then maybe have the tools, the ideas that you need to do your own. I know there's tons of people out there who have already done it, and I'm going to definitely look around here on YouTube and see what other resources and encouragement I can find here. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's kind of like in the future, maybe that's something that we'll do. And if that is something I do, then obviously that'll be something I share with you as future content. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in to another video. I love doing these updates and kind of documenting our journey here on our side of the mountain and how things are working. And hopefully you find ideas or some encouragement for your homeschool journey too. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.